I have fallen in love with green stripe bowls. So I'm going to paint, not the bowl, y'all, not painting the bowl, but this is my motivation for something I want to paint. I have this crock that has been hanging around for way too long. There's nothing written on it. It actually, I mean, other than it's a little stained, it just keeps getting overlooked. So after painting the butter crock, I'm like, you know what? He's getting off the shelf and he's getting some stripage and some wordage. Oh, why not? And I'm doing a space in my house, and it kind of has that same yellowware kind of vibe, though it's a little bit more creamish tan. It's all good. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to paint a word on here, and my my husband said pickles. He said, put the word pickles on it. That's what a lot of people, would not be very many pickles, but he is right, pickles. And pickles goes with green. Um, though I'm not sure if I'm doing the green. So I have to decide which way I want to do stripes, which way I want to do the wording of pickles. I cricketed out pickles. I just made a stencil using some removable vinyl off of my Cricut because it's easy. Before I decide where I'm going to place my word, I'm going to decide where I'm going to put my stripes because I like the stripes. So I have some different sizes of tape. I'm going to be careful not to pull on the last time I did one, I must have pulled, so my stripes went a little bit on the wonky side. So we're just going to go around the top. Yes, yeah, this one's already going up. Need to just stay right under that little lip. And I'm going to try to put one. This has got that lip here. I don't know if this will work or not, but that's kind of where I'd like my stripe to be, I think. Okay, now I'm putting that next tape right, because I'm going to remove the blue tape because that's where my paint's going to go. And do a couple stripes on the bottom. So yeah, I like, that's where I'd like the stripe to be. So yet again, if you do small little pieces, I know there's some tape somebody will tell me that I should have got, but you know, I didn't know I was doing this until today. That's how I wake up. Sometimes I pre-know what I'm doing, and other times, most of the time, I don't. I just like, what do I want to create today? Okay. I have 9. I'm going to do one first and then see if I want to do more or not. Okay. Now I have DIY's Eden, which I think is a pretty close color match to that bowl. Just going to use a makeup sponge. And then we're just going to apply it on. Though it's not going to be able just to sit here because this is a round object. So I think it's just easier just to put it in my hand, hold it that way, work on these. I know I'm going to need 2 coats, so I'm going to help it dry with the heat gun. Okay, then I'll go back in with my second coat. That'll just cover it a little bit more. I find before sealing it in, it's better to take the tape off because sometimes that top coat like becomes one with the tape, and then you end up pulling your line off, and so you don't want to do that. Been there down that road before, so there's a starting point somewhere here. Okay, now I'm going to take some weather defense, and y'all, it's the saddest day for me because I finally heard back from the guardsman company that this is obsolete. It's no longer available. My heart hurt because then I was like, well, what do you have that you're replacing it with? And they're like, nothing. It was the shortest little email I've ever gotten in my life. And I'm like, oh, so there we go. So I'm going to seal this in with the weather defense. When it's gone, it's gone. Then we'll have to figure out something else. Why do companies have to break your heart like that? I don't know. You might as well just tell me my Everlast Raisinberry lipstick is no longer available. The one I've used for 20 years, it seems like. Like, no. And nobody has any available. The last time I ordered, luckily I had ordered a dozen, but that dozen I know I'm probably halfway through that dozen. So I kind of did a stenciling font, like people would have had stencil lettering or they would have handwritten it. It's like pick a side, any side. Now that it's dry, I think it's dry. We'll just put that there just for safety's sakes. And I have my pickles. I don't know. I don't have any other skinnier tape to do like one white line. That's what I'm kind of thinking, but I don't know. I'm just gonna center this eyeball. I'm eyeballing. It's an eyeball kind of day. Isn't it always an eyeball kind of day? Right? That's pretty close. The grid transfer tape's the way to go because it really does help you. And this is removable vinyl, so it might want to come off with the transfer tape because this is glazed. Because I cut close to my lettering because it just helps me, especially when I'm trying to eyeball, to make it level. Then I just use some tape. You do whatever works for you. I think though I'm going to do white. So in case I don't get that other letter on there, I'll bring in that white of this. Using DIY's White Swan, another makeup sponge. Yet again, we'll get that first coat on, we'll dry it, and then put the second coat on. but we won't seal it in until we remove the stencil. Because we use DIY and it's a sealed in crock, we can just do that with that little. Now I'll go ahead and spray it. Defense. I'm going for it. Okay, most I have to do is go ahead and touch up my little edges. So at least I just feel like I need that white stripe. That's why I'm a fan of the perfectly imperfect, because it's so hard to be perfect. I don't even try. We'll see how much of the paint came off. If it did, we'll just fix it. Or just leave it as is. Leave it the perfectly imperfect. That's the nice thing about trying to reproduce an older piece, is it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, this is for me. It pulled off some of the tape, or the tape pulled off some of it, but I don't care. It does not bother me in the least, so I'm just going to seal it in and spray that. I like the white because it draws your eyes to the white of the pickle. I love old cutting boards. Whether you use them or you don't use them, they tell the story. And I love to paint the edges of old cutting boards to make them into risers. You totally can use them because I won't do anything to the top, but I want to paint the edges in case I want to use this in a display that I am doing. I'm going to use DIY's Paint Eden, which is a yummy dark green makeup sponge. Doesn't have to be anything perfect. We're just coloring the edge. Have you ever seen those breadboards that have the color edges, the antique ones? Was it so people knew which ones were theirs? I don't know, but that was always my inspiration for doing a piece like this. We're going to go turn the corner and we're going to do all the four sides. Okay, now I'm going to take a piece of steel wool. We don't want it to look like it's just been painted on there, but we don't want to do anything harsh that's going to cut into the board. So that's how we're going to do. DIY distresses very easily, but if you wet it, then you're going to get it into the wood too, so we don't want to do that. We just want to make it look like it's always been on there. Once I've got it sanded to where I think I like it, I'm going to just take a rag, dust it off. I'm just looking for that really raw, wore off edge. Now I have some Pentart matte varnish. We need to seal DIY paint in. And then so I just poured some out on a plate, and then I'm just going to take another makeup sponge, and then we're just going to go over it ever so slightly because it waters distresses really easy. Yep. It's a crock. Nothing special, just a little crock that has nothing, no wording, no bee stings, no nothing. So we are going to put the word butter on it. I cricketed out a stenciled font of butter. Now I'm using the removable vinyl. The permanent vinyl might stick to the glazed crock much better, but it seems to be this is what's next to my Cricut when I go to put vinyl on, and I don't even think about it until I'm at this point. Other than cleaning the crock off, that's all I did to prep it. One of these, if you didn't see on my channel, and I had so many like, are you going to sell that? I'm like, no, I put it in my decor. So I'm like, when I found another one, I'm like, I can do one to sell. So for my color, I'm just going to stick with black, and we're going to do little black dress. And if I can fit stripes on here, I will. Now I don't seal it in until after I take the tape and the stencil off, because it'll make a coating that'll be on the top of the stencil, and then it'll end up pulling the whole letter off. Remember, it's not soaking in here, it's just hanging out on the front of the crock. Get that sealed in, and then we'll let that dry, and then I will go ahead and put, even though I think it looks really good without the striping just takes it to the next level. Take some of the small tape, and we'll see if we can make a line. Okay, to the top and the bottom. Take this middle one off. And I'm going to take this one off. I did a really small on the very bottom. And then this one. And we'll put paint on it. Oh, that one, even though I cleaned it off with alcohol, it didn't, it's like, it's all good. Remember, we're not looking for perfection. Okie dokie. Since we use DIY, we can just take the little scraping tool and scrape it off. There's some imperfections, but that's okay. I'm not going to overthink it. We're just going to get it sealed in with weather defense, clear coat.